I spent 8 years building a life with someone I thought I knew. Diana and I met in college, married young, and dreamed of growing old together. I worked long hours as a project manager to give us stability. She worked part-time at a boutique downtown, saving for the house we planned to buy. We were not rich, but we were comfortable. Happy, or so I believed. Then one night during an argument about something trivial, she screamed words that shattered everything. "I regret marrying you. I could have settled for someone better." The venom in her voice told me this was not just anger. This was truth she had been hiding. Before I walk you through how betrayal unraveled my marriage, drop a comment and let me know where you are watching from. If you believe people should face consequences for their actions, hit that like button and subscribe, because what happened next was a chain reaction I never saw coming. Let me take you back to when things started falling apart. My name is Kyle. I am 32 years old, born and raised in Denver, Colorado. I met Diana when we were both 21 at the University of Colorado. She was studying fashion merchandising. I was finishing my degree in business management. We connected at a mutual friends party. She had this energy that filled a room. Confident, funny, ambitious. We dated for 3 years before I proposed at a lakeside cabin during a weekend trip. She cried when I got down on one knee, said yes before I even finished asking. We got married the following summer in a small ceremony with family and close friends. For the first few years, life felt good. I landed a job at a construction management firm overseeing commercial building projects. The pay was decent, around $80,000 a year. Diana worked at a high-end clothing store, bringing in another $25,000 part-time. We rented a townhouse on the outskirts of Denver. Nothing fancy, but it was ours. We talked about kids someday, maybe 2. A boy and a girl. We spent weekends hiking in the Rockies or trying new restaurants downtown. Friday nights were reserved for movies on the couch with takeout. It was simple, but I thought it was enough. Around year 5, things started shifting. Diana became distant. She spent more time on her phone texting people I did not know. When I asked who she was talking to, she would snap that I was being controlling. She started going out more often with coworkers after her shifts. Girls' nights, she called them. I trusted her, so I did not push. But the warmth between us faded. Conversations became surface level. She stopped asking about my day, stopped laughing at my jokes. We drifted into roommates who shared a bed but little else. I tried to fix it. Suggested date nights, surprise dinners, a weekend getaway to Aspen. She agreed half-heartedly, but seemed checked out the entire time. I asked if something was wrong, if we needed counseling. She brushed it off, said she was stressed from work, that I was overreacting. So I backed off, hoping whatever phase this was would pass. Then came the fight. It was a Saturday evening in late April. I had just gotten home from running errands. Diana was in the kitchen scrolling through her phone. I asked if she wanted to grab dinner somewhere. She said she already ate. I said, okay, no big deal. But then I noticed she had not cleaned up after herself. Dishes in the sink, food wrappers on the counter. I mentioned it casually, asked if she could help keep things tidy since we both lived there. She exploded. "Are you seriously nagging me about dishes right now?" "I am not nagging. I'm just saying it would be nice if we both cleaned up after ourselves." "God, Kyle, you are so exhausting. All you do is complain." "That is not fair. I barely ask you for anything." She slammed her phone on the counter. "You know what, I am sick of this. Sick of you. Sick of pretending this marriage is something it is not." My chest tightened. "What are you talking about?" Her face twisted with anger. Or maybe it was disgust. "I regret marrying you, Kyle. I could have settled for someone better. Someone who actually makes me happy." The words hit like a punch to the gut. I stood there frozen, trying to process what she just said. She grabbed her purse and keys, stormed out the door and drove off. I did not follow. I just stood in the kitchen staring at the dishes she left behind, replaying her words over and over. That night I could not sleep. I lay in bed alone, wondering if she meant it, if she had been feeling this way for months, years, and if so, why did she stay? The next morning she came home around 10. No apology. No explanation. She went straight to the shower like nothing happened. I wanted to confront her, but part of me was afraid of what I might hear. Over the next few weeks, the tension only grew. She barely spoke to me unless necessary. I caught her smiling at her phone constantly, laughing at texts, typing quickly, then deleting and retyping, like she was crafting something important. My gut told me something was wrong, but I had no proof, just a sinking feeling that refused to go away. One evening, I came home early from work. Diana was not home. Her car was gone. I texted asking where she was. She replied 2 hours later, saying she went shopping with a friend. But when she got home, she had no shopping bags. I did not say anything, just filed it away. A week later, I woke up at 2 in the morning and realized she was not in bed. I found her in the living room, sitting in the dark, phone glowing in her hand. When I asked what she was doing, she jumped like I had caught her doing something wrong. She said she could not sleep, was just scrolling social media, but her screen went black before I could see what she was looking at. I went back to bed, but sleep did not come. Something was happening. I just did not know what yet. I started paying closer attention, not because I wanted to be paranoid, but because my instincts screamed that I was being lied to. I noticed she started dressing differently. More effort, more makeup. She bought new clothes even though we were supposed to be saving money. She started coming home later from work, sometimes 9 or 10 at night, even though the store closed at 7. When I asked, she said she was helping with inventory or covering for a coworker. Always an excuse, always vague. One night in mid-May, I checked our cell phone bill online. We were on a shared plan, so I could see the call and text logs. My hands shook as I scrolled through the numbers. One number appeared constantly. Hundreds of texts. Long phone calls late at night. Calls that lasted an hour or more. I did not recognize the number. I reverse searched it online. No name came up, just a Denver area code. I considered confronting Diana but decided against it. If she was having an affair, she would just deny it. Delete the evidence. I needed proof. Real, undeniable proof. So I made a decision I am not proud of, but one I felt I had to make. I installed a tracking app on her phone. It was not legal in the traditional sense, but technically the phone was under my name on our plan. I told myself I just needed to know the truth. The app showed her location in real time. For a few days, everything seemed normal. Work, home, the grocery store. Then on a Thursday evening, she told me she was meeting her sister, Natalie, for dinner. I said, okay, have fun. But the tracker showed she was not at any restaurant. She was at an apartment complex across town. She stayed there for 3 hours. I sat on the couch watching the little dot on my phone, feeling my stomach twist into knots. When she came home around 10:30, I asked how dinner with Natalie was. She said it was great, that they went to some Italian place downtown. I asked which one. She hesitated, then named a restaurant I knew was closed for renovations. I did not call her out, just nodded, smiled, told her I was glad she had a good time. Inside, I was screaming. The next week, I followed the pattern. She went to that same apartment complex 3 more times. Always claimed she was somewhere else, at the gym, running errands, meeting friends, each lie stacked on top of the last. I needed to know who lived in that apartment, so one afternoon I drove there myself. It was a modern building, nice, expensive looking. I parked across the street and waited. About an hour later, I saw her car pull into the lot. She got out, checked her surroundings, then walked to the entrance. A man met her at the door, tall, athletic build. He put his arm around her waist, and they disappeared inside. I sat in my car gripping the steering wheel, trying not to lose it. I took photos with my phone, time-stamped. Clear shots of her with this man, his face, the building, her car in the lot. Then I looked up the address online, found the building's resident directory, cross-referenced the apartment number with public records. His name was Marcus Chen, 35 years old, worked in finance, single, or at least not married according to any records I could find. Wait, I cannot use the name Chen. Let me correct that. His name was Marcus Donovan, 35 years old, worked in finance, single, or at least not married according to any records I could find. I went home and drank half a bottle of whiskey. I wanted to confront her immediately, throw the photos in her face, demand answers, but I knew that would not be smart. If I wanted to protect myself in a divorce, I needed everything documented. Every lie, every affair, every piece of evidence that would show her betrayal. The following week, I hired a private investigator. His name was Ray, former cop turned private eye. Gruff voice, no-nonsense attitude. I showed him what I had. He said it was a good start, but I needed more if I wanted to ensure a clean divorce with no chance of her taking me to the cleaners. Colorado was not a pure no-fault state when it came to asset division. Proof of infidelity could impact alimony and property settlement. Ray tailed Diana for 2 weeks, got photos of her entering Marcus's apartment at least 8 times, photos of them kissing in his car, walking hand in hand through a park on the other side of town where no one we knew would see them, videos of them having dinner at a quiet restaurant 40 miles outside Denver. The evidence was overwhelming. But I wanted one more thing. I wanted someone in her family to know what she had done. Diana always painted herself as the perfect daughter, the responsible younger sister. Her older sister Natalie adored her, thought Diana could do no wrong. Natalie and I had a decent relationship. She was married with 2 kids. Good person. Honest. If anyone deserved to know the truth, it was her. On a Tuesday morning in early June, I called a divorce attorney. Her name was Miss Laura Daniels. She came highly recommended by a coworker who had gone through a messy split. I sat in her office and laid out everything. The affair, the evidence, the lies. She reviewed the photos, the investigator's report, the timeline I had documented. She nodded slowly. You have a strong case, Kyle. With this level of evidence, we can file for divorce on grounds of adultery. In Colorado, that can influence how assets are divided, especially if you can prove marital funds were used to support the affair. Did she spend money on him? I pulled up our joint bank account statements, highlighted several charges, expensive dinners at places we never went together, a hotel room 2 months ago when she claimed she was visiting a friend out of state, clothing purchases from high-end stores right before her visits to Marcus, charges that added up to thousands of dollars over 6 months, money that came from our shared account, money I earned. Miss Daniels smiled grimly. This is good. We will file immediately. I will also draft a request for temporary separation of assets to freeze accounts and prevent her from draining anything before the divorce is finalized. How long will this take? If she does not contest, a few months. If she fights, could be 6 to 9. But with this evidence, I doubt she will want to drag it out. Adultery cases rarely go well for the cheating spouse. I signed the paperwork, paid the retainer. $5,000 up front, worth every penny. She said the divorce papers would be ready in a few days, and we could arrange for Diana to be served. I wanted it done fast, clean, no more waiting. That same afternoon, I made copies of everything. The photos, the investigator's report, bank statements showing her spending. I put it all in a folder. Then I drafted an email to Natalie. I kept it simple. No emotional rants, just facts. The email read, Natalie. I am sorry to be the one to tell you this. Diana has been having an affair for at least 6 months with a man named Marcus Donovan. I have attached proof. I am filing for divorce. I thought you should know the truth about what your sister has been doing. Kyle. I attached the folder, hovered my cursor over the send button, took a breath, then clicked. The email whooshed out into the void. No taking it back now. 2 days later, the process server showed up at our townhouse at 6:30 in the evening. Diana had just gotten home from work. I was in the bedroom packing a bag. I had rented a short-term apartment across town. I was not going to stay in that house another night. The doorbell rang. Diana answered. I heard muffled voices, then silence, then footsteps rushing toward the bedroom. She burst through the door holding the papers face pale. What is this? I zipped up my bag. Divorce papers. Kyle, what are you talking about? You cannot be serious. I turned to face her. I know about Marcus. Her expression flickered. Shock, fear, then anger. You have been spying on me. You have been cheating on me. That is different. No, Diana, it is not. She threw the papers on the bed. This is insane. We can work this out. It was a mistake. It did not mean anything. You told me you regretted marrying me, that you could have done better. Seems like it meant something to you. Tears started streaming down her face. Real or fake, I did not care anymore. Kyle, please. I was angry when I said that. I did not mean it. But you did mean it when you spent 6 months sleeping with another man, when you lied to my face over and over, when you used our money to buy him dinners and hotel rooms. She went silent. Caught? No way to spin it. I already sent everything to Natalie. I added. Photos, proof. She knows what you have been doing. Diana's face went from pale to red. You told my sister. She deserved to know who you really are. You are trying to destroy me. No, you destroyed this marriage all by yourself. I am just making sure everyone knows the truth. I grabbed my bag and walked past her. She did not try to stop me, just stood there crying. I left the keys on the kitchen counter, walked out the door, got in my car, and drove away without looking back. The next few weeks were a blur. Natalie called me the same night I sent the email. She was furious. Not at me. At Diana. She said she confronted her sister immediately. Diana tried to deny it at first, but Natalie did not buy it. She told Diana she was disgusted, that she had destroyed a good marriage and a good man over selfishness. Natalie apologized to me, said she had no idea Diana was capable of something like that. I thanked her for believing me, for standing by the truth. Diana tried calling me repeatedly, texting, begging for a chance to talk. I blocked her number, let my attorney handle all communication. Miss Daniels sent a clear message to Diana's lawyer, accept the terms, or we go to court with all the evidence. Diana hired a lawyer, but he advised her not to fight. The adultery evidence was ironclad. Fighting would only make things worse and cost her more money. By mid-August, we reached a settlement. I kept most of our savings since I could prove she had misused marital funds for her affair. She got her car and some furniture. I got the majority of assets and no alimony obligations. The townhouse lease was in both our names, but I arranged to break it early. Neither of us wanted to stay there. Too many bad memories. Marcus, as it turned out, wanted nothing to do with Diana once the affair became public. He was actually engaged to someone else and had been playing both women. When his fiancée found out, she left him too. Diana ended up alone, lost her sister's respect, lost her marriage, lost the man she thought she was leaving me for. I wish I could say I felt bad for her, but I did not. She made her choices. Now she had to live with them. Natalie stayed in touch with me even after the divorce. She said Diana tried to reconcile with the family, but it would take time. Their parents were disappointed. Her younger brother stopped speaking to her. The fallout was extensive. Natalie told me Diana moved to another state. Arizona, maybe? Started over somewhere no one knew her story. I did not ask for details. did not care. That chapter of my life was closed. As for me, I focused on rebuilding. I threw myself into work, got promoted to senior project manager 6 months after the divorce. The raise helped. I moved into a nicer apartment downtown, started going to the gym regularly, picked up hobbies I had abandoned during the marriage, woodworking, hiking. I reconnected with old friends I had lost touch with, started dating again, but casually, no rush. I wanted to heal first, to understand what went wrong, so I did not repeat the same mistakes. Looking back now, almost 2 years later, I can see the signs I missed, the emotional distance, the secrecy, the sudden changes in behavior. I ignored my instincts because I wanted to believe in the life we had built. I wanted to trust her, but trust without honesty is just denial. And I had been in denial for too long. The hardest part was not the betrayal itself. It was realizing I had wasted 8 years on someone who never truly valued me, who saw me as a backup plan, a safe option while she looked for something better. When she found Marcus, she thought she had upgraded, but she did not realize that character matters more than excitement. Loyalty matters more than passion, and integrity cannot be faked. Diana taught me a painful but necessary lesson. Not everyone who says they love you actually means it. Some people are just filling time until something they think is better comes along. And when they show you who they really are, believe them the first time. I should have believed her the moment she screamed those words at me. I regret marrying you. I could have settled for someone better. She meant it. And instead of wasting more time, I should have walked away right then. But I am glad I waited long enough to gather evidence, to protect myself legally, to make sure she could not rewrite history or play the victim. The truth mattered, and I made sure the truth came out. Now I am in a better place, stronger, wiser, more careful about who I let into my life. I do not regret the divorce. I regret the years I spent ignoring red flags, but those years taught me something valuable. They taught me that I deserve better, that I deserve someone who chooses me every day, not someone who stays out of convenience or fear of starting over. Diana is out there somewhere living with the consequences of her actions. I do not wish her harm. I just wish she had been honest from the start, honest enough to leave before cheating, honest enough to admit she was unhappy instead of blaming me for everything, honest enough to take responsibility for her choices. But she was not, so I did what I had to do. Served the papers, exposed the affair, protected my future, and moved on. Every day I wake up grateful that I am no longer living a lie, grateful that I trusted my instincts, grateful that I had the courage to walk away from someone who did not deserve me. That is the real victory. Not the divorce settlement, not the satisfaction of her affair blowing up in her face, but the knowledge that I stood up for myself when it mattered most. And that is something no one can ever take away from me. So let me ask you this. Have you ever ignored red flags in a relationship only to regret it later? Have you had to walk away from someone you thought you would spend your life with? Drop your story in the comments below. I would love to hear how you handled it. If this resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more real stories about betrayal justice and moving forward. Share this with anyone who needs to hear that they deserve better than lies and deceit. Thank you for listening to my story. And remember, your worth is not determined by how someone else treats you. It is determined by how you treat yourself. Stand up for your truth. Walk away from toxicity. And never settle for less than you deserve. Take care of yourselves. Until next time.